All right, Eric, let's take a look at your paper MLA format first. This is fine. This is fine. Despite my best teaching and hints and last video, um, you went with this anyway. Just do me a favor. If and when you do go to college, just never ever do this to your teacher because that's just not going to look good on you. All right, so you got a space issue here that you need to get rid of before you get to your introduction. So you start with the David Bowie quote, which I think is a great quote for this paper. I think it's really good. Do more than just say Bowie was right. Really expand on it. Another sentence here. I mean, you can start with that short sentence if you want, but another sentence here. But just add another sentence here that will elongate on that thought. So you're going to focus on success in life. What does it mean to be successful? The topic of the paper was the steps it takes to be rich and famous. So you're looking at rich more as in quotes. That you're going to be successful in life. You can measure how. Now you say it can be measured by how well off they are. That to me means rich. So you might want to be more specific there. And how liked they are as a person. In order to be a success, here are your main points. I'm assuming you have to accept reality, find a good job, and work hard to be honest in life. A successful life starts with an honest one. It's not a bad thesis, except basically your theme is honesty, which is one of your main points as well. So I like the idea of being honest with yourself, maybe. But then I don't know if I like this as a main point if you're just going to talk about honesty mostly in here. So you might want to figure that out. Now, you're way too short. You may have like the right number of sentences in order to be a quote-unquote paragraph, but you certainly have a very short paragraph there. So you want to expand on that. So your first step is to know that the world isn't rainbows and sunshine. Great wording, great voice. Weak topic sentence, though. You want to have a much stronger. Once you accept the fact that the world isn't rainbows and sunshines, you can now do this. Okay. This is an interesting. I need to go check this out. So this source, which is BuzzFeed, which is a terrible, not reliable source. So follow along. So becoming a movie star is a 1 in 1 million shot. Okay. So that's obviously huge odds, right? Winning an Olympic gold medal is 1 in 662,000, which again is huge odds. Winning an Academy Award, which should be capitalized, is 1 in 11,500. Now, I know what it means, but basically the way that you word it is that it's easier to win an Academy Award than to be a movie star. But what you really mean is that of all the people nominated, you only have a 1 in 11,500 chance. So I get that part, but the way that it's worded doesn't make it seem that way. So you may want to find a new statistic because this is junk, but you may want to figure out a different way to word that overall. So you have to realize that the odds are against you. Again, look at all the really short, choppy sentences here, Eric. We'd love to elongate some of those, really add some beef to those sentences, if you will. Almost all rich people cheat and sleaze their way there. You might want to maybe even throw in an example. There's another, maybe instead of this, throw in an outside source of somebody who really sleazed their way to the top. The Kardashians come to mind, but I guess it could be other people. You really want to be a scumbag. So again, I really like your voice in here. I think that's one of your strongest parts so far. You have to work hard and be honest about it, which this is supposed to be maybe one of your main points. So I'm not sure if this really is your thesis or not, but people are living in their dreams, and that has to end. Second step is to wake up from your dreams and find an actual job. Okay, so maybe a little bit more specific transitional statement there. Maybe this is actually maybe a better transitional statement, and then you can have a really good topic sentence down here instead. All right, so the next part is finding a job. Again, way too short a paragraph. This statistic is really good. It's really scary, but really good thing to use, really good source to use. But here's where you can help. List some jobs that have really good return for their effort. What are the jobs that people can step right into? What are the jobs people, you talk about and they choose fields that have no jobs. So to give me some examples of careers that have no jobs, and you know, expand on that. And has high demand. And see, this is where it'd be perfect to fit that in. And again, be specific. You know, maybe you want to be a guitarist, but obviously that's not going to happen. So, you know, do this other job and play guitar at a coffee shop or at an open mic night or something like that. So you can add a lot more detail in there. You got a space issue here, too many spaces. Just be realistic. Maybe like either a semicolon or a colon probably would be, not a semicolon, sorry, a dash or a colon would probably be the mark you'd want to use there. Pick a high demand, well paying job that you would be satisfied in doing. So, and the next one is about working hard and honest, which again, we kind of touched on already. All right, hardest step is just as interesting, the well-paying job step. So well-paying should be hyphenated there. You have to work hard and be honest. Again, your topic sentence needs to be stronger. It needs to be of a, not only is it the step, but what is it ultimately doing for you? Being a hard and honest worker is the best way to get people to like you. So no comma here. Remember, only comma conjunction. We have two complete sentences. Never mind. I guess you can keep that there. That will work. There's another one down here that that you would use. That we need to get rid of the comma. So in case your chance of getting raises and promotions, you work a 60-hour week if you needed to get the job done. So may want to look a little bit into the whole hardworking and honest, how many times you use those words in this particular passage, just to, you know, play with word choice a little bit. When you work late even after your shifts end. You put as much effort in the smallest task as you do the largest. Can you give a specific example of that? So you have a good quote that you can use. Hardworking, honest person all bosses want to see. Again, I'd love to see more specific examples for that. All right, so in your conclusion, remember you want to restate your thesis statement. Then you want to go through each main point for a sentence of summary, and then you want to jump into the clincher. Essentially what this whole thing is a clincher. So you might want to think about redoing that to make sure that you follow that. I'm not sure he realized that fame doesn't mean much in life, but that working hard and honest means everything. I mean, this part he may have realized, but I'm not sure if he meant this part. But anyways, make sure you have everything in your conclusion that you need. Obviously, way short of the 3-page limit, and again, that just comes from not having enough information in here. Daily Caller, and we already talked about BuzzFeed. The MLA is correct, so you got that going for you, so that's good. But again, BuzzFeed, I don't know if that's the best, obviously not the best source. So Eric, good base for what you need to do, but certainly we need to add some more material. We need to add some more examples, maybe some more outside sources, maybe add another step along the way, and then hopefully we'll get a much longer, more thoroughly developed essay out of you. So good luck with the rewrite.